Good evening to everyone present here today. We have a product manager, Jason D'Souza, who would be providing a walkthrough on the different features of MarketsMojo and also revealing some hidden ideas. Towards the end, we would also be having a Q&A session. Over to you, Jason.
A very warm welcome to each and every investor gathered here today. Over the past few weeks, we've done a lot of different events. I've tried to cover ELSS, mutual fund performance, so on and so forth. And I think it's always a great time to come back to the platform. So today we'll be having a simple walkthrough on the different features of MarketsMojo. Now, also before the event, I got to know from Matab that a lot of investors have found the new menu slightly confusing or, cannot actually understand few bits of that. So in today's event, I'm actually breaking it down to two different parts. In the first part, we will actually look at the new menu design. We look at the new interface and how we can actually navigate through the website. And towards the second part of the event, I'll be taking you across this demo. Starting off, this disclaimer: investment in securities is subject to market risk. Past performance should not be construed as a guarantee for future returns. What's new? As I said, we have a redefined menu. Okay, and we sat and we've actually listened to a lot of investors, and we've tried to actually make the navigation on the website much more simpler. So I'll just take you all across the new menu today. So if you see, it's actually divided into 7 different portions over here. Okay, when we look at the stocks drop down, the most of the selections over here are focused on stock research or understanding the fundamentals via the result corner, so on and so forth. And you can also monitor your stock selections via the watch list. Okay, quite simple as that. Okay, so stocks, all the part of the feature, the stocks are gone into one menu. We have mutual funds over here. Now this is a bit more detailed compared to the previous one. You can actually see the different orders you've placed previously, research a new mutual fund, or get some advice on your funds which are holding in your portfolio. Okay. On portfolios, we have our classic one view where you can understand all your portfolios in one place, also the portfolio tracker, so on and so forth. Uploading portfolios via a small case gateway, that's quite simple. It's a one-click import. Okay, this is the particular menu for the HNI desk. You can look at the portfolios here. And for all the professional investors gathered here today, I think some of you were a bit confused as to where the different features were. If you go to the drop-down of professional, you will get to see all the different features we offer on Mojo Professional. Okay, in a similar way we have for global, that is InfinUp. I've kept the tab open. I'll take you across that later. And lastly, before I move forward, we have this more tab over here. Okay, these are some of the other sections of the website. Let's say you missed any particular event, you can always go to best of webinars. Okay, you can watch like the recent event which was on Warren Buffett, and also the highlights or the annotations of the event. So this is the different section. Also, when you search a particular stock, now it's a bit more simpler. You also get the score along when you searched it. So for example, let's say I'm searching HCL Technologies. I can always see the score of HCL Technologies, so on and so forth. Look across mutual funds, ETF. This is what we've covered recently as well. Right. So this is the new menu, and the purpose was to make it more simpler for the investors to navigate on the website. The format of today's session will be slightly different for the demo. The reason I've done this is that I don't want to actually sit over here for the next 40 minutes and tell you what are the different features. Rather, looking at all the feedbacks and all the different queries we get from our investors over the past few years, I've actually looked at them and then I've tried to see which feature actually fits that particular query. So starting with this particular format, when we invest in the stock market, timing is one thing we always look at. Is it the best time? Are the indices at an all-time high? Which sector is actually running a lot nowadays, so on and so forth. If you're planning to invest in the market, is it a good time? This is one of the most asked questions. That's why I've kept it on the first point over here. Okay, do you have any ideas to start with? Now, if you're, let's say, a very new investor in the market, you might actually need a starting point. Or even if you're a professional investor, you might actually want to actually look at different sectors or different market caps to invest in. So are there any ideas here with the MarketsMojo platform for you to start with? Third point is which theme or sector is actually doing well today. Okay, and from all the 4,000 stocks, which ones can I buy, which ones should I hold, or which ones should I look at exiting from? This is something which we can do by researching on the platform of MarketsMojo. Okay, so better understand the situation, let's look at the research portion. So research, invest, monitor was actually the previous menu breakup. So this menu I'm showing you over here right now, previously we had research, invest, monitor. Okay, so all these features are still there, it's gone nowhere. I'll be actually helping you understand where those features actually fit on the menu and what exactly are these features. So speaking about research, to understand the market movement, to understand the fundamental performance of companies, deep diving into any stock, ideas and screeners, as I said, investment ideas. Okay, Now this is something new, which was the IPO section, the newly listed companies. Okay, we are also analyzing them. And lastly, research reports. So each of these questions, each of these features, we have one section on MarketsMojo for particularly that. Okay, so to understand the market movement here, I've written the market section. So let's jump straight to the market section on MarketsMojo and see how we can understand the market movement. As I go to stocks, here you can see the first option itself. It says markets today. So I'll just click on that. Okay, so now if you just zoom into my screen, yeah. So here you can see these are the major indices over here. Okay, these are the different periods we can actually analyze them from. Then we have a chart towards the right side to understand the movement and some other major attributes like top gainers, losers, how many stocks have advanced and how many stocks have declined. Okay, if you want to get a fair view of how the market is performing this year itself, so I'll just click on year to date, which is from Jan 1st till date. And you can get an idea that it started off at a high point of 61,000. You can see how Sensex has actually gradually gone down and it's currently at 59,989. We are actually at the lowest point of this year if you see this region. Okay, you can also see this on 1 year basis and up to 3 years. To deep dive into any of these indices, so let's say I want to actually look at BSE 500, so on and so forth, and the stocks within that index, you can click this option here. So here you can actually deep dive a bit more inside. So okay, let's see Nifty 100, what's been the performance, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is for the pure indices. If you want to understand sector movements, okay, to understand how are different sectors performing, here we have a sectoral indices breakup. So as the name suggests over here, let's say over the past 1 year, how have the different indices performed? I can simply click this over here. Yeah. So here you can see Bank Nifty is up by 8.7%. So the list of banks we have over here, the 12 stocks. The overall index is up by 8.7%. Nifty IT has seen a major correction of minus 19%, so on and so forth. So here you can actually go to all sectoral indices and look at all the different sectoral indices. You can click on any of them and understand which was the top gainer as well. So example in Nifty Finance, let's say 3-year period. Okay, I can click on Nifty Finance. So Cholamandalam Investment and Finance has been the top gainer in Nifty Finance. So here if you see in the 1 year period, we can see Nifty IT is minus 19%. Let's look at the 3-year period. Okay, here you can see it's up by 140%. Okay, so even though in the past 1 year it's not done well, over the longer period, let's say 3 years, Nifty IT has done comparatively well. And this is one of the things I want to actually address in today's event. If you see, there is some sectoral rotation happening in the market. What worked well over a long period might not perform well over a shorter term. So if you see Nifty IT over the last 3 years, you're making 140%. But if you invested 1 year ago, you're just actually making minus 19% over here. So you're down. Okay, so sector rotation is prevalent. You can't actually buy into one sector and keep your money over there for the next 3 or 5 years. Looking at how fast the current dynamics are changing, there is a lot of sector rotation. Okay, and apart from that, in the market section, you can get a lot of other ideas. Let's say top gainers in the Nifty, so on and so forth. Okay, we also have a news section where we pull out all the news from other major publishers. So you can actually get an idea of that as well, and international news. Yeah. So understanding the market movement is simply explained by the market section, which was the first point. But if you want to understand the fundamental performance of companies or their recent result performance, I think Result Corner is one section where you won't actually find it in that depth across different other websites. Okay, let me just quickly take you to the Result Corner section. So here under stocks, if you see, we went to markets today. Just below that, here we have Result Corner. Okay, below stock research. This is a very nice place for me. I personally like it. When I come over here, I actually get an idea of the fundamental performance, sector wise or market cap wise. Okay, so if you see currently here, we are on the December period over here. Okay, and we can actually see the results declared. And here you can see, you can actually go and see the performance of only, let's say, large cap companies. So we can see 50% of companies have actually done well from the large cap criteria, so on and so forth. Okay, you can also see within small caps. So let's see small caps, for example, 50% of the companies have done positive. So the result performance of the companies are actually categorized over here very simply. You can see the financial trend of each company over here. Now you can also go to the industry tab and actually understand how the sectors are performing. So let's see IT software. Okay, 45 companies in the IT software industry have done well. Let me actually break it down further and look at large cap IT companies. So here you can see I've applied 2 filters, large cap IT software, 66, the number has actually become better. Okay, and again, also sorted by the financial trend. This is the trend of how the company has performed in the recent quarter. Okay, now if you look over here, I've actually sorted it down on the best performing companies, and slightly below you go to flat and negative. And one interesting part over here is the return since result. So basis the performance of the company in the December quarter, you can actually understand how much the company has gone up since the result date. So if you see here, mostly the green ones over here are actually gone up. So 17%, 5%, 14%. Here we have a few companies which have actually given negative returns. But as soon as you go to yellow and red, you can see mostly all the companies have given negative performance since they are negative or flat result. Okay, so result corner, you can go across this industry wise, sector wise, also index wise. So here is also a filter for index. So here you can actually, let's say, select any other particular index and look at the result performance of that index in particular. Okay, so understanding the financial performance of the sector, index and different companies is very simple. You can simply go to the result corner section. Now going to the major part of today's webinar, which is deep diving into any particular stock. If you see, the analysis was slightly a top-down approach. I looked at the market, then I looked at the fundamental performance of companies. But what if you want to deep dive into a particular stock and understand what are the things that can affect the stock's price, so on and so forth. So going to the stocks page over here, so I'll just select a particular stock. Okay, I'll just select ITC. So as I go and I select ITC, you can see I already know it's a strong buy stock. Okay, and it has been a Mojo stock since over a year. So it has been one of our top rated stocks since a year period. Now, once you come to the stocks page on the website, so this is the most used section on the website. Once you come to the stocks page on the website, at the first glance itself, you can understand that this company is into the cigarettes and tobacco industry, and it's a large cap, around 4,68,000 market cap. So quite a big size company. And if you scroll one step below, here is the dashboard of the company. Now we try to actually collate all the information and try to make it simple on the first page itself. So I don't have to actually go below and search all the different cards. If you see, the first grab itself of this website gives you the call on the company. So currently we believe the stock is a strong buy in the system. And if you see, the score has changed from buy, which is this criteria, to a strong buy. So it has become much better in the rating scale. We're also given the date. And now why is it a strong buy? These are the 5 top points why it's a strong buy in the system. So it's in a bullish range. It has given an ROE of 24%, which is quite good for a large cap and also a mature company. Okay, and towards the right, we have something which is a bit more personalized for you. So is this stock for me? Here you can see it's a low risk company with higher return. And this is something we should actually aim, because this is something really good for our investors. If you're having a low risk appetite and you're expecting a higher return from a company, ITC is something which you can actually bag in your portfolio. Okay, how much you should buy? Here we are given some guidelines. So ITC should not be more than 10% of any stock in your portfolio, so on and so forth. And the Mojo parameters. Now I'll spend some time on these parameters over here when I deep dive into a stock. If you see, we've broken it down into 4 different parameters, and these are the parameters which go into the calculation of the Mojo score. So 85 is strong buy because of these 4 reasons. Okay, we have quality, valuation, quarterly financial trend, and the technicals of the stock. Okay, just to sum it up in a very short way, if you scroll here below, you can actually understand what are these 4 dots. Okay, so let's start off with quality, for example. Here you can see the quality is excellent over here. And we are looking at quality across 3 different parts: management risk, growth, and capital structure. And towards the right, you can actually see what exactly quality is and what are the different ratios gone to calculate that. If you see the first dot itself, quality, it's more like a gatekeeper to the company. Okay, if any particular company wants to actually qualify into our top rated list, or wants to actually become a top Mojo stock, we look at quality first. It's the gatekeeper in the system. It looks at things which are more from the long-term perspective, and if the company is consistent. So you can see sales growth is around 10%, so on and so forth. You can also go below over here, which is valuation. Now your valuation, we simply don't look at the price and reach to a conclusion. So if there's any stock about 3,000 or 5,000, we don't call it expensive or very expensive. We look at the valuation discounted by its earnings. How good the company is doing when it comes to its earnings. So currently here you can see it's expensive. We looked at the price and also the earnings of the company. Okay, if you scroll below, we have the financial trend. So the most recent result of the company, which was on December 2022, we break that result down into a much deeper manner. and we give a score for that result as well. So don't get confused between the CFT score, which is this financial trend score, and the score which we saw on top, which was 85 at strong buy. Okay, these two are different scores. This is the score for financial trend, which was 20 for this company. And here you can see across different quarters, we have kept the financial trend along with this line, which is the price movement of the stock. Now, one thing which was very interesting when it came to picking ITC as one of our top stocks. If you see the financial trend performance back in 2018, the score was 3, 4, 4, 3, minus 4, 8, 7. It also went to a negative. And you can see the price also moving in a very good correlation over here. When the company's performance has been negative, quarter on quarter, the price also went up. And we entered over here around 1 year ago, okay, in 2022. But since then, if you can see, as the performance has improved of the company, the price has also skyrocketed. Otherwise, ITC was a major meme stock. Every one of us joked about it being at around 200 price for a very long period. But if you see, as the financial trend performance improved, the price also followed and improved. Okay, currently it's at 26, 25, 20, which is the good score. And the price has also gone up accordingly. So if you want to actually understand an entry point when it comes to actually, entering a stock or something, the CFT score can give you a good example of how the fundamental performance of the company is. Okay, so this was the third dot, which is CFT score. And the last and the fourth dot is the technical trend. So if I click on technical over here, towards my right, you can see there's a simple chart over here of the price and the technicals. Okay, now we look at 7 different indicators across a weekly period and a monthly period. So don't get confused. This is not a very short-term indicator of technical trend. So for example, if the stock has fallen, let's say very high in the last trading session, the technical indicators won't change very frequently. It's looked at a weekly basis and a monthly basis across 7 different indicators. Okay, so here you can see the price movement of the company and when it has turned bullish or when it has turned bearish. So you can see in August 2021 over here, the stock turned bullish and here it actually reversed bullish, so on and so forth. You can actually see this movement. The reason I spent some time on these 4 dots is I want to actually speed in your analysis on MarketsMojo. So when you come to any particular stocks page without even scrolling below, if you see these 4 dots, you should get an idea about the company. So I'm seeing these 4 dots currently. I can say, okay, the first dot, quality is good. So the company has done well over the long term. Okay. I can see valuation red. Okay. So that means the company is expensive. The financial trend is green. So the company has done well in the previous quarter. And the technicals are bullish. That means the market is rewarding the company. These 4 indicators I explained below should ring a bell as soon as you see the stock name over here, and it helps you in quickly analyzing. So for example, if I go to, let's say, some of the peers. Okay, let's look at the peers of ITC. Let's look at Indian wood products, for example. I can look at the quality and say, okay, over the long term, it has not done well. But okay, the second dot, valuation, that's at an attractive range. And the third dot, which is financial trend, is green. So it has done well in the recent quarter. So these 4 dots should actually help you understand what exactly that stock is in one simple glance. This is I would say, the parameters used to actually calculate the score for the stock. It's just the things we actually focus on. But if you want to look at all the different parameters we look at, okay, it's not just quality, valuation, financial trend, and technicals. You can also go below here and see, let's say, the shareholding pattern. So as I click on the shareholding tab, you can actually see what is the shareholding pattern of the company, who has actually invested into ITC. So you can see it's held in 361 mutual fund schemes. Around 10% of the shareholding is with mutual funds and around 13% with FI, so on and so forth. Okay. Other DIs have 41%. So it's a very high institutional holding company, which is also positive. So deep diving into a stock, I've also done a lot of webinars on, only focusing on the stocks page. But if you want to deep dive into any stock, the stocks page has all the information possible. Okay. So you don't have to go search across different websites, read the company's website, none of it. All of the data is actually available on the stocks page. The way to actually excel in the market is actually understanding how you can read that particular stocks page. What are the different things you should focus on? So that's why we made these particular tools for you to quickly analyze all these stocks. Now that you understand what the market movement is or how, the investors are actually pricing that particular sector or company, you understood the fundamental performance over here. Okay, market movement, the actual fundamental performance, and deep diving into a stock. Investment ideas and screeners will help you get a starting point. Okay, if you know how to analyze the stock, that's great. But what are the different ideas you can focus on? What are the different screens you can look at for a starting point in building your portfolio or selecting your next stock? Let's move to the screener section over here. So if you click, okay, so if you simply click over here in professional, here, as I said, you can get all the different features over here. So you can simply click on make your own screener. And to understand what are the different investment ideas, you can simply click over here. Okay, now these are pre-filled screeners. So we already make some buckets for you to start off. What if I showed you the 3 different dots? So what if you want 3 green dots, quality valuation, financial trend in the large cap segment? Okay, or 3 green dots in the mid cap segment. What if you want companies which are consistently performing well? Okay, so these give you some ideas, some starting point in your investment journey. Companies which have improved their financial trend, most improved companies, so on and so forth. Okay, so for example, I'll just select consistent performance over here. And here you can see we actually explain to you which are the companies and what was the filter used to reach this particular idea. So these companies have shown a positive or better CFT or financial trend over the past few quarters. You can also edit this filter over here. So I'm clicking to edit the filters. Here you can see over the last 3 different financial trends. Let's say latest quarter, previous one, before that, and also the one before that. Okay, it selected all the good parameters like outstanding, very positive, so on and so forth. You can also then customize this particular screener to a better idea. So for example, I know this is the consistent performer screener. It has 436 stocks over here. What if I select consistent performers within the IT software industry? So I'm adding another industry level filter over here and I can click on IT software. Now you can see the number of stocks are 30. So there are 30 stocks in the IT software industry that have given positive performance over the last 4 quarters. So this quarter, the previous quarter, the ones before that, so on and so forth, within the IT software industry. Saxoft, Persistent Systems, so on and so forth. And you can also see the return performance. So let's say we look at the 5-year return of these stocks. Okay, so we have up to 5 years. I mean 10 years is available, but I think 5 years is a good period for us to understand the performance over the longer term. Okay, and I can run the analysis now. So here we know that it's IT software companies that have done well, and this is the return performance for 5 years. This company has gone up by 297%, so on and so forth. Okay, so CGVAK software has gone up by 1174%, Dynacon system has gone by 700%. Okay, and as you scroll below, you can get the performance of all the companies. So this is the investment ideas section. It helps you with a starting point to actually build a portfolio or add a new stock into your portfolio. Now, newly listed companies, this is a new section on the website, which is in IPO analysis. There has been a great craze for chasing IPO companies. I still remember back then, just after COVID, there was a big rush to actually invest or subscribe into any company or any IPO. Now, the thing with that is, in a very bullish market, this strategy might actually look favorable, wherein every company is actually listing at a premium and it's like more like a lottery system. I agree with that. But if you look at the current market today, it's quite volatile. Every listed company or every company which is listing may not list at a premium or may not perform well after getting listed. If you want to understand which company you should subscribe to or avoid, the newly launched IPO section will actually solve your queries. Okay, so if I go on stocks now, the first menu option, I can click on IPO analysis. And if you zoom into my screen over here you can see the BSE IPO index which we've placed to understand how IPOs have performed over a longer period. So this index is quite interesting. It looks at any newly listed company for a period of 1 year since they've been listed, and it adds it in the particular index. So let's look at it at the 3-year range. Now you can see the chart is beautifully moving upwards. So I was talking about COVID, so here back then in 2020, and here you can see the movement has been very good. Okay, but here, as I said, the market is now very jittery. The IPO index is not doing that well. So every company which is listed may not actually go up. But there was a period which has done well. For this is the reason why we are actually having all the IPO analysis in one particular screen. So you should know which company you should avoid, so on and so forth. So for example, here we said to avoid KFin and England Electronics. It's fallen by 40 and 23% respectively from its issue price. Okay, so this is how we're trying to safeguard investors by giving you an idea of each IPO which is actually coming out. Okay, so we had asked to subscribe 5-star business up by 12%. Okay, some of them are actually done well. But if you want to actually understand, the call in a better manner, let's click on Elin Electronics, for example. Okay, so this is the stocks page for Elin Electronics. Now, recently there's an IPO, Global Surface Limited. You can also click over here. So this is the IPO page. Okay, here we also have a video. Our Chief Investment Officer will actually explain to you why you should avoid the company. So if you don't want to read all this matter, you can simply click the video over here. But we've asked you to avoid this IPO. So the newly listed companies, we have a dedicated IPO section over there. Please don't go on simply rushing and subscribing to any IPO. It's good to actually come on the IPO section and wait for a call. Take more of a informed decision. Those days are gone when the market is extremely bullish and you can just jump on the bus and get great returns. Those days are not present here anymore. The market's very volatile. So, the newly listed IPO section would help you here when it comes to IPOs. Now, research reports, the last part over here, which is verdict report and switcher report. What exactly are these reports and how can they help you with your analysis? Let's take, for example, any particular stock. So I'll go to the stock section over here. Okay. So here you can actually search any particular stock. Let's search JK Paper, for example. It's a hold currently. Okay, you can see the score is hold. These are the 4 dots. So now as soon as I come to JK Paper, I should know, okay, the quality is good. The valuation is attractive. Financial trend is good. But okay, the 4th dot, which is technicals, is bearish. So even though the fundamentals and everything of the company is good, the company is facing some negative movement over the past weekly and monthly periods. So that's why it's bearish. But the score is 61 over here. Now, as I said, research reports, the research reports over here, if you see, we have a verdict report over here for every stock. Let me simply download this and take you across the verdict report. Now, if you don't want to go through all, so if you see the stocks page is quite vast. Okay, there are a lot of different ratios, lot of different parameters, the price movement, return analysis, news and updates, so on and so forth. But if you want to actually focus on the major important things about any company, you can download the verdict report over here, which will kind of summarize all the important factors. So I downloaded this verdict report. I can simply open it up over here. Yeah, great. So here we are trying to sum up. The first page of the verdict report will actually explain to you what exactly is happening with JK Paper. The report is as on 18 March, now 7:28 PM. So the best thing about this report is that you don't have to actually look at the date because it is as on the particular time you generated. Okay. Otherwise, if you see a particular report which has been generated by another different investment advisory, would be stale in nature. But if you want to get the report as on now, you can simply download the report. Any new information which comes in the market, let's say the technical price movement, the financial trends, so on and so forth, all of them will get updated and present in this particular report. So if you see, the first page itself explains to you the important things you should know. You can also scroll below. Okay, so this is the management risk, or one of the parameters into quality, the first dot. You can also look at how the growth of the company has been. Okay, so I'll scroll here below, and here you can see how the company's financial trend has been. So December quarter, you can see there's a very smart movement of the company's operating profit trend over here. Okay, so these are all the fundamentals. You can actually read them later when you feel, let's say you don't have time currently to visit and actually check your desktop or actually go through the mobile app. You can simply download this report, even take a print of it and actually read about the company easier. So you can see institutional investors have increased their stake by 1.8%, which is a positive for this company. The FIs have raised. So all the important things over here, FIs have increased their holding by 3.38%. So it's 9.43 currently. So there has been some institutional preference on this particular stock. Okay, and one more interesting thing is that you should know that JK Paper is the biggest company in the paper industry. I don't know if many of you actually know about this thing, but it is actually 36% of the market cap of the paper industry. So a lot of other different interesting insights. If you see over here, JK Paper contributes 24% of the industry's paper sales and 32% of the profits. Here you can see it contributes only 23% of the sales, but it's improving its efficiency and contributing a higher proportion of the profits at 32%. So even with lesser sales, it's able to deliver better profits. Now, factors not working for the company. As I said, the 4 dot was red. Here you can see the technicals are showing red over here. If you remember the fourth dot which I spoke over here was red. So you're very simple. You can see the technicals has been a bit bearish for the company. So even though the company has been very fundamentally strong, the current market has seen some underperformance. Okay, so you can see the returns over the last 3 months. BSE 500 is down by -7%. The stock is not below that. It's only -6%. So it has outperformed the index. Okay, and the 1 year and 3 year period has outperformed the index by a very big margin. Okay, so this was the verdict report. Now, in the same lines, if you want to actually see if there are other better stocks than this, you can always go to 2 better stocks than this particular tab over here, which is the switcher report. So this will actually tell you why you can switch from JK Paper into a different buy rated company, so on and so forth. So if you want to, let's say, switch out from JK Paper and invest in the next best company, here we will tell you what's not working for JK Paper and what's better for Triveni Turbine. Okay, so you can continue to hold JK Paper or switch to Triveni Turbine and the reasoning for it. So you can see it's like a cross report when it comes to switcher. So very similar in nature. These are the different features under the research section of the website. If you are aware of these, you'll be able to actually research any particular stock in the industry and get an idea within minutes. We've done the homework for you. We've kept the tools ready. Okay, it's simply, if you have the intent of learning about any particular stock, the research on MarketsMojo will help you very simply to get an idea. We'll also tell you what to buy, when to buy, what to sell, how much to sell, so on and so forth. Now, just to sum up very quickly what we've covered, okay, since there was a lot of matter. So market section, as I've showed you, all the indices at one place. Result corner, all the result performances or the last quarter performances in one place. We have the stocks page. The major important thing, as I said, about the 3 dots and the score or the call on the company, what you should do as on today. We had Mojo screeners where I took you across different ideas, consistent performers, so on and so forth. IPO analysis for new companies and the verdict and switcher reports. So that was the research portion of the website. Okay, all of this is great. The research we are giving, all of that is fine. But what are the top stocks I can buy today is the next most asked question. After you're done with a particular demo with an investor, he'll always ask you, ये सब तो ठीक है, but मैं कौन सा stock लूँ as of now? आज कौन सा stock, which is the one I can add in my portfolio? For that, we have the Mojo stock section on MarketsMojo. Here, we actually look at the top rated stocks on MarketsMojo. The investment committee also looks at these stocks and then they are entered into our Mojo stock section. So let me simply take you to Mojo stocks over here. So you can go to professional and top stocks to invest. These are our top rated stocks. So I spoke about ITC. We also have Andhra Paper. You can see it has been for 10 months and 2 days. It's gone up by 28% and the BSE 500 has given 6%, so on and so forth. Across mid cap segment, small cap segment or micro cap segment, you can look at the current list. So for example, let's look at small cap. Mrs. Bector's was up 5% yesterday. It's up 32% in the last 3 months and 4 days. The market is down overall. Andhra Paper, Saxoft, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see Ion Exchange over here up by 2.4%. It's been 1 month and 1 day in the list. So these are our top stocks. If you don't want to do the entire homework in the stocks page, go across all these different things, we have curated the best stocks for you. Okay, so you can look at the current list of full list stocks which have entered and exited over the period of time. It's all available in a very transparent manner. So you can see how many stocks have gone up in the green or actually corrected and exited the list, so on and so forth. You can actually get a pure understanding of the entire top stocks on MarketsMojo. Okay, and what if you want one top stock to invest in each month? Let's say more if you want to follow an SIP manner, or you want just one stock to invest in each month. For this, we have a stock of the month section. So these stocks are handpicked by our CIO and he will actually pick one stock at the 10th of every month. So stock of the month. Okay, so you can see last time we had actually recommended ZF Commercial, which was gone down by 1.4%. So you can actually click on this report over here and get a clear understanding why the CIO has selected ZF Commercial as of 9th March to invest in. It's currently 18th March. Okay, and the rationale of the company. So it has strong growth prospects. EV is the focus area for electric vehicles. Okay, demand for consumer vehicles is going to be likely to be good over here. Commercial vehicles. Strong focus on exports, focusing on the aftermarket, so on and so forth. So here you can get a clear understanding on the chief investor's opinion on why you should buy this stock. Now if you see the last 4 companies over here, they are actually flat. The market has also been very choppy, but it's actually not eroded much wealth over the last 4 months periods. Here you can actually get the complete list of all the stocks recommended, okay, since the stock of the month feature has been live. We will actually come back to you and tell you when you should exit these stocks. So once you bought this particular stock in the stock of the month, we will give you a detailed rationale on why you should exit the company. Let's say in case we are asking you to exit the stock of the month. Now that I have some great ideas to invest in, how do we actually go about investing in them? Okay. You can track all your ideas and receive alerts on them via the watch list. And once you enter the stocks, we will actually give you alerts on what should be your next move. What I mean by that is if you go to stocks and let's say watch list, all the different stocks I've actually been analyzing, I can actually track them under one place. So it doesn't make sense if I simply visit stocks. Most of the sense happens when I actually come back and see how those stocks have actually performed. So let's say I've added a particular stock in my watch list, I can actually see the returns since I tracked the stock. So I had actually gone to the stock on 20th November 2022. It's up by 86% in that period. Okay, so for example, this stock Oil India, when I visited it on 7 Jan, it's up by so and so percent. And you can also see all your watch list stocks, let's say the 52-week high, 52-week low. I'll not go much in depth in this, but you can actually see the ratios, financials, so on and so forth. Another place you can actually go is actually adding them to your portfolio. Okay, so this is my, let's say, portfolio tracker. Okay, these stocks worth 68 lakhs over here, the portfolio score is good. And here is where I can actually track all my personal portfolio holdings. So let's say I'm holding Axilla Solution, what's the gain or loss I'm making, so on and so forth. If you want to import your portfolio, it's quite simple. You can go to add stocks and one-click import. This is the much more easier option. In hardly 2 or 3 steps, you can actually import your entire portfolio from your broker. So you don't have to actually go through the major process of actually uploading each stock, so on and so forth. So it's much more simple with the one-click import option. If you scroll below over here towards the end, here we have something which is the 7 Mojo parameter analysis. This will go in depth into your portfolio and see what are the 7 different places. Okay, so for example, it looks at returns, the risk of the portfolio, liquidity, the diversification, quality, valuation, financial trend, and it also give you a final score on the portfolio. So currently my portfolio, this is not my real portfolio, it's a sample one and it's currently good at 72. And how is it good? These are the different factors used in calculating. So the portfolio is highly risky compared to Sensex. Most of the companies in my portfolio have a very expensive valuation, so the valuation dot is red. So how we had 3 dots for stocks, we also have 3 dots for the portfolio here. Financial trend. Okay, and you can scroll below and get much more analysis on your portfolio holdings. Now the benefits of adding stocks to your watch list and portfolio, we will tell you if any stock you added has actually changed its call. So let's say you're holding NIT and now this company's score has turned to sell. You will actually know when you have to exit that company, and we will also tell you other 2 companies you can consider switching to. And also whenever there's a result performance of the company, we will send you an alert. We will break down the result. For example, this was in June 2022. As soon as the result comes out within the next few hours, you will get an email from MarketsMojo on how was the result performance of the company. Okay, so we understood researching across all 4,000 stocks, newly listed companies and investment ideas. Investing in any of our top rated stocks. I'll show you the Mojo stocks and the stock of the month section. And finally, monitoring. After doing all this research, after putting in your money and investing, how you can actually see whether you performed well via the portfolio tracker and the watch list section. So this was mostly revolved around the stocks section of the website. Okay, we also have mutual funds, and I'll take you all across that very quickly and then we'll open the floor for Q&A later. But first I'll take you all across the mutual fund section. If you see the new menu over here, the mutual fund section is actually broken down in a much better manner. So you can explore mutual funds research, transact. Transact is something which is free currently. We don't charge any particular commission. You can actually go and buy any particular mutual fund scheme over here. Okay. These are direct options, so there's no particular commission charged over here. Okay. So under mutual funds, you can also get advice on your existing funds you hold. So for example, look at this particular portfolio around 3.35 lakhs. It will tell me which particular fund is buy. So I know ki Parag Parikh tax saver fund is a buy ranked. For Axis, we have sell ranking, so on and so forth. Dive deeper, we also have a mutual fund research page on every mutual fund. So if you want to know which are the best mutual funds to buy, if I look at Parag Parikh, which is an ELSS mutual fund, the rating is currently buy. So here we don't have a score as to 0 to 100. Here we have a buy, hold and sell rating. Okay, if you scroll below, you can see all the other ELSS funds within the category and what's the hold and sell rating. Now, across different categories, you can actually go about. So let's say I want to look at debt funds. I can search debt and reach to debt over here, which are the top 3 ones, so on and so forth. Nifty Next 50 Index, so Sensex, Nifty 50, all the best funds across each category. Let's say under thematic infrastructure, we have ICICI Pru Infrastructure Fund in the ranking 1, 2, 3. You can click on any of these and you can also buy them now. So previously you could just simply research. If you want to buy any of these funds, you can simply enter the amount and go on with a one-time or a monthly SIP option. I've done a lot of events actually on mutual funds. We've looked at how you can actually research different mutual funds, look at different ratios. So you can also look at those events later. Before I end this particular event and open it for Q&A, we have an attractive offer of 26,999 for 2 years plus 3 months. You're getting free mutual fund transactions, 3 months free because you're attending this particular webinar, and a massive 33% discount. This includes all the features I was explaining as to the fundamental stock research. I've not taken a look at trading 80, but we also have trading calls and also mutual fund research and transactions, which I've just explained. Okay, so with that, Mehtab, you can pick up any questions on the MarketsMojo platform and how to navigate, so on and so forth.
The first question for today is from Mr. Nikhil. Can you suggest some screener strategies which are not listed on the website?
Sure. So I'll just go to the screener section. Okay, so under professional, this option over here. Screener sections not on the website. I usually use the expert screener model. So what happens with the expert screeners, I have the liberty towards all the different filters over here in actually looking at them. Okay, so currently if you ask me one particular good screener to actually look at, I have some saved lists over here. So I can save any particular screener I like. Okay, recently I done a webinar on value stocks and growth stocks. So I can click on them, for example. So these are some of the growth listed company. I've done an extensive webinar on this. It's available on the highlights page. Okay, but I'll use one of the investment ideas on the website and actually modify them for you. So let's take, for example, I'll look at small cap companies for now. Okay, 3 green dots and within that small cap companies. And now for this particular screen, I'll exclude some of the sectors which I don't believe will do well. So for example, there is a particular scare on the banking sector. And here I'm looking at top small cap stocks. I can edit this filter over here and let's say add the industry. And I can exclude the banking from here, look at other industries instead. So look at FMCG. Okay, I'll exclude finance and banking. I'll look at IT, pharma. Okay, I can look at other sectors here below as well. So now I can run the analysis. I look at 6 small cap stocks. I can look at the industry over here, IT software. Okay, there's around 4 in the IT software and pharma. Okay, so I've heard of CMS, Dynacons, all of these. I've not heard of this particular company. It's a micro cap, so very small. Okay, it's Albert David, a pharma stock. So I've not heard about this company. I can click on company CV over here to get a better understanding on what exactly it is in. So it deals in formulations including amino acids, so on and so forth. So I can get a better idea over here by clicking company CV. Okay, there is some data as well on, okay, looking at the dashboard. Okay, the score is around 53 at hold. So this is one of the screener where I look at small cap stocks. Currently, most of the investors are actually looking at investing in them. So this is a small cap filter. Okay, apart from that, if you want to look at the most, companies which are growing at a very good scale and also technically bullish. So I normally use the growth factor option. So I can look at profit growth, the company's profit over the 1 year period, sales growth. So the last 1 year has not been an easy market. Okay. If I look at the past 1 year growth and the profit and the sales growth, I can add more filters over here on top. So let's say I'll add the dots, the quality, which is the first dot. I'll keep it, let's say, excellent and good. I can add valuation. So the companies I want to select should be attractively valued. Okay. So I can add them over here. And let's select the return as well to understand how these companies are performed over the past period. So let's say 1 year period and 3 years period. Now run the analysis. Now if you have selected sales and profit, I can actually sort them down over here and look at the companies which have done the highest growth in sales. So look at KP Energy. Its sales has grown by 123%, profit by 125%. It's up by 200% in the last 3 years and 10% in the last 1 year period. So I normally look at sales growth and profit growth to actually see which companies are running well, bottom line and top line. So these are some of the screeners you can actually look at.
The next question is from Mr. Chaco. If valuation is very expensive, should we avoid it?
I would not say avoid very expensive companies. See, if a company is trading at a very expensive range, okay, the third dot which is in red, it's possibly because it is commanding that premium because of its past performance or because of how well it's situated in that industry. Okay, so for example, I think we were talking about ITC over here and the company was at an expensive range. Okay, so that doesn't mean I can actually look at ignoring that company. Valuation is not something you should pay major attention to. If a company is very expensive and the company's financials are also improving, you can still invest in that company. Okay, it's just that it's at a very premium at the market currently. So if it's very expensive, don't simply go on avoiding it. So the best thing to do is don't look at one simple dot and base your decision. What I mean by that, if one dot, let's say valuation is red, look at the final score on the company. Okay, the score is much more powerful. It looks at all 4 dots. So let's say one dot, let's say financial trend, the third dot is red. If you look at the final score on the company, you'll get a better idea whether you should hold it or exit that particular company.
The next question is from Mr. Ankur. Can we find stocks with bullish engulfing pattern? Also need stocks with good PE, PEG, PB and face value 10. Thanks.
Sure. I'll take you to the screener and answer the second part of the question over here. So if you go to make your own screener. So some of the ratios you mentioned are available under the valuation factor over here. So you mentioned about PE, PB, PEG, so on and so forth. You can also play around with these ratios. So for example, let's say I want to pick a company with a PE multiple of, let's say, lower than 10. So I can see 1,881 companies. So let's say within the IT industry and lower than 10. So I'm actually looking at attractively valued companies. So 64. Okay, I can run the analysis. So these filters you can actually look over here. Face value is something I don't think we have over here in the filter of the screeners. But some of the ones you mentioned of PE, price to book, PB or PEG, dividend yield as well. These are available under the valuation factors of expert screener. Could you just flash the question again? I want to see the first part. Okay, so bullish engulfing pattern. So I'll just take you to the trading 80, something which I've not covered today. So I'll just see if that particular pattern is available under the trading call chart. Okay, so this is the trading calls. Here we give you short-term calls. It's just thing with the market being very volatile right now, you'll have to be a bit more careful and also apply your stop losses. Okay, I'm selecting one particular company over here, Bombay Dyeing. Okay, so some of the patterns over here are actually recognized. If you see over here, there's a doji bull pattern. So I'll take another company and see if there's a bullish engulfing pattern. Just a second. Okay, so this is a belt hold bull reversal, engulfing bear pattern. So there should be so if there is a particular, the pattern is actually reflecting. If you go to the trading calls over here, we have an engulfing bear pattern over here. So bull counter attack lines, belt hold bull reversal again. You can get these indicators over here in the trading section. So you won't get them on the stocks page, but on the trading section over here, you can actually read the chart. Let's say 1 year period, year to date, or throughout its lifetime. All the different patterns which have been triggered. So I think you should get it, sir. Just go to the trading call section on the website.
The next question is from Mr. Vinay. Please share your views on Ujjivan Small Finance. Sure, I'll just visit that particular stock.
Okay, so some of the patterns over here are actually recognized. If you see over here, there's a doji bull pattern. So I'll take another company and see if there's a bullish engulfing pattern. Just a second. So I don't have any personal view on that as such. Okay, so G1 Small Finance Bank. So it's currently a Mojo stock at the, if you just share my screen, it's a Mojo stock at the border of hold and buy. Okay, and it was a strong buy previously and it's come to buy. If I go to returns, I can get a quick idea of how so the company has been at a bearish performance. You can see year to date it's down by 18%. Okay, 13% down 1 month period. Since it's still at the buy, region over here, you can remain invested. It's also a Mojo stock. Okay, so if you're holding the stock in your, let's say, model or infinity portfolios, we will come back to you on when you should exit it. Currently, still it's a buy over here. If you see, there's nothing majorly wrong with the recent performance of the company. It's just the market movement. So if you see, the October has been an outstanding performance over here in the financial trend. The quality is good. Valuation is also attractive. Okay, it's very attractive currently below 33. Only problem is this red dot, the technical dot, which is mostly capturing the price movement. Now, why is the price moving down? There is some scare with the financial and the banking sector. That's why it's moving down. But the fundamentals are remaining intact for the company, and it's also a Mojo stock. So as the score suggests, it's currently still a buy. Okay, if you're currently holding this company, don't look at exiting it. And since it's a Mojo stock, you can actually go and buy this company. Just understand that the current, the sector is actually facing a downtrend. Okay, so the fundamental story remains intact, but just that the price movement is actually moving downwards.
The next question is from Mr. Malik. Can we upload stocks from Kotak Securities in one click? If you were to suggest just 2 platforms which are good, comparatively better value and charges, please suggest for stocks buying and selling.
So there is, I can't get the particular website's name, but there's one particular website which actually distinguishes all the broker performance and charges in one screen. I'm not getting that particular, but there's a simple Google search, you can actually understand. So it totally depends on your usage as well. Okay. So for example, if you're someone who trades into derivatives and trading in the trading in particularly, then you'll have to look at a broker which is well in that particular space. I can't give you one straight option over here. So for stocks buying and selling, you can look at all the major platforms. Ideally, you should look at how what is the charges as well and how. So for example, I see some of the platforms which actually go off and on. Okay. They actually lose connectivity and there's some problems as well. You should look at ones which are a bit more stable in nature. You can, I think, upload from Kotak Securities in one click. Let me just have a look. I'm not really sure. But I think Kotak is also available. So if you just share my screen. So one click import is very useful. You can see these are all the brokers listed: 5paisa, Alice, Broking, Angel Broking, Dungro. So I think Kotak is not available. I'm not really sure. Yeah. So that particular one is not available. So you can actually instead go behind. I think we have another option to upload from Kotak. I'll just have a look. Yeah, Kotak Securities, we have another option where you can upload the Excel file from Kotak. Okay. So you visit Kotak Securities, download your portfolio holdings, and then you can actually upload the file. There's no one-click option available, but you can simply go to the website, and with this one option to upload the file, it will read all your securities. So you don't have to actually sit and add each stock.
The next question is from Mr. Mayank. In result corner, not all information, valuation and quality are present. Please elaborate on the result corner.
So result corner, so if I just take you to the result corner section over here quickly. So things like valuation of, okay. So I'm on result corner, things like valuation of the company is available by the dot. So if I scroll over any particular company, where let's say SpiceJet, I know the quality is below average, valuation is risky, and financial trend is positive for the company. Okay, I think you're talking about the filters not available over here. And I don't think you actually require that. So you can replicate this entire result corner in the screener section itself. So let's say you go to make your own screener. Now if you scroll below, we have the result quarter. So let's say I'll select December for now. So I have 3,598 companies which have declared their results in December. Now you can add your valuation filters. So let's say I want all the very attractive companies. And you can add, so it's in December quarter. So you don't have to actually have It's actually double work of having the same filters available on result corner as well. You can use the expert screener option over there, sir, to actually go and look at very attractive companies within December quarter.
The next question is from Mr. Ashok. Dear Mr. Jason, I have long-term capital gain after deducting 1 lakh, still in need to pay tax of 30,000. If I take ELSS for 1.5 lakh, can I claim against long-term capital gain?
I'm not really sure about this particular answer. I think you'll have to actually consult your CA. I'm not that great with taxes. I also consult my CA when I have questions like that. So you have a long-term capital gain after deducting 1 lakh. Okay, still in need to pay tax of 30,000. I think you should ask your CA about this particular question.
Lastly, the last question is from Mr. Arminder. Please share your views on JTEKT.
Okay, I'll just search the stock over here. So it's currently 64 hold. It had entered our Mojo stock list. Okay, and I also remember that the company was, I think, trading around 130 or 140 and then moved down. So it's fallen by around 30% this year. Okay. If you're still holding that particular stock in the portfolio, I'll go with the score, which is at a stronger hold. It's around 64. Okay, also the company has given a good bounce back over here at 5%. So one thing about these companies is that they're quite risky in nature. The reason I'm saying is, if you see is JTKT for you, it's a high risk and high return company. So let's say you entered at 130, 140, you will be a bit jittery right now looking at the price at 105. So you will get but you can see the company has just flown at 5% in a 1 day period. So going back to a price of, let's say, 130, 140 doesn't look very difficult because it's a high risk and a high return company. If you ask me my opinion currently, I would not ask you to take any fresh entry or look at downward averaging this stock. If you are still holding the stock, you can continue to keep it in your portfolio or follow the advice for Infinity and model portfolios. Please understand it's kind of risky. It's an auto ancillary company. The financial trend is also currently in the positive range. Only it has fallen from 34 to 14, is still in the positive range. Okay, so you will be facing a lot of volatility with this particular stock. But if you're still holding in your portfolio, keep it and don't look at any fresh buy. Just stay patient. It's actually fallen by increased by around 5% in the last trading session. So you can see some particular positive movement. Yeah, it's currently at 64 at hold, so you can actually hold this company. So I think that's it with the Q&As, and I'm happy we got some questions across the platform. And over the next week, I'll try to do something which is a bit different webinar. This time we did a simple demo and walkthrough. If you all have any particular queries on how to use the MarketsMojo section, I'm sorry, you can just share my screen one last time. So if you click on the profile over here, we have the feedback queries. If you're using this particular website and you have any particular queries, you can simply reach out to us over here. If you have a suggestion, if you have a question on the sections or features, you can simply post your query over here and we'll be really happy to help you. So looking forward to seeing you all come for the events in the future as well. Goodbye and have a great weekend. Thank you so much.